We are live. We're live. Welcome, welcome. I'm in Germany. I'm jet lagged like crazy. I'm gonna sneeze. Whew. Excuse me. Oh, the jet lag is showing up. Whew. Excuse me. I am jet lagged, but we are gonna do a full stream. It's a 12-hour time difference from Hawaii to Germany, and it definitely messes me up every time I do it. I feel pretty good, but I always get a little bit of a sniffle in my nose, and I am gonna pass out after this. The time difference definitely hits me. I slept long time last night. Anyway, what about you guys? Have you been getting on the water? How are the conditions where you are? Is it windy? I am in Germany now for about 10 days. Then I fly off to Morocco. And in Morocco, I will be doing a masterclass. And there still are a couple spaces. If you want to join, check it out, windsurfingmasterclass.com. And one of the things that came up in planning the masterclass, talking with some of the people on it, is a pretty interesting subject that I want to get into before we jump into the Facebook group. Some quick hellos. Hey, Jorg, Axel, Suna. So people were talking about planning and about gear storage and hotels and whatnot and comparing prices. Some things are more or less. And I thought it was a really interesting subject, especially for a place like Morocco, which is so much more worse off economically than a lot of the countries that we're coming from, even though it's much better off wind-wise. And I think the tendency is to treat it like we do our homes, and we want to get the best deal, and we want to, make sure that we're not paying too much for whatever. But I think that that's the wrong attitude to have. I think the right attitude to have is to make sure that you are giving back. We're going to these places because they've got good wind, and those places really give a lot to us. But a lot of the people in Morocco, even the kids, they don't have pencils to go to school. And so trying to, nickel and dime every transaction there is really the wrong attitude. And if we're going there and it's giving us so much in terms of the wind and the waves, we should be thinking about it the other way. So instead of like, oh, how can I pay less for my stuff there? How can I support them? What can I bring? Can I bring pens and pencils and notebooks for the school kids, or can I donate somewhere? And I think that that's a really healthy attitude to have, and something that we should all strive for if we're traveling to windsurf. And it will make the locals a lot more welcoming as well. I know, for example, up in Denmark, the locals really don't like it when the car park is full of people from Germany who are staying up there for 2 days but don't spend a single penny while they're up in Klitmøller, because they bring all their food from Germany, and there's no support of the local economy, and they're just taking waves and crowding everything up, and it creates a bad vibe. And so if you're traveling for windsurfing, it's really good to support the local communities that you're visiting as much as you can, and that will also help ease some of the localism that's happening, because I think a lot of localism is a reaction to stuff like that. And I'm pretty sympathetic to a lot of localism, because I think it can be really difficult to live in a place that has good conditions, so there are always people traveling to it. And if you're someone with a normal job, working a 9 to 5, your sessions on the water are pretty precious. And so if you're living somewhere where there's always tourists getting waves, it can be pretty frustrating. So I think it's important to be really conscious of the locals and try to support the local communities as much as you can when you travel. All right, let's jump into the coaching. We got a few more people in the chat. Matt, 3 sessions this week. Nice. 4-5 with waves. Ragnar is on his way. Oh, he's in Denmark and he's got his gear with him. I hope it's windy. Mark had 2 sessions this week. Awesome. Greg just had a session. Caro said some Devil's Tack in St. Peter. Awesome. So you guys are getting on the water. All right, I'm going to load up the Facebook group and we're just going to jump into it. All right. First up, you guys can all see my screen, right? Yeah. First up, we've got this backloop video from Mika. And it's looking pretty decent. I mean, there's an over rotation, and what we normally say is that over rotation is worse than under rotation. You want to aim to under rotate, and so that's maybe something you should think about. But this rotation's not that bad. Excuse me. We got Max in the chat. Hello, Max. So let's watch this again and go through the technique. So Mika does a good job of going straight up and not rotating off the ramp. And the rotation isn't super fast, which I like to see. Just a little bit of over rotation. What I think you want to do, Mika, is keep your body closer to the sail. You want to be sheeting in more, stay closer to the sail. You don't want to really be so extended. You want to keep your body close to the sail, keep your butt in, and then really guide the rotation with your head. You want to think about being a lot more arched with your back. You don't want to have this rounded back. So you could even try to do like an arched back loop and see where that leads. That C position with the back with the straight legs is not what you want. So try and think of keeping your legs tucked and your back more arched and really looking over that shoulder to spot your landing. And then here you release the sail. The sail sheets out and that whips you around the last bit. You really want to keep the sail sheeted in and pointing towards the water. So try that and let us know. But it looks like you're making really good progress. All right, we got a question from Greg. After a good bottom turn in cross-off down the line conditions, arriving at the wave feels too fast. He feels difficult to predict the impact of the wave, fearing a brutal, miscalculated redirection of the board. I guess it can come with practice, and I rarely can practice and cross off. Also, perhaps with opening the sail, getting low, early for the top, I could be in a better position for the impact. So my answer to this might or might not be satisfying, but I think that fear is really important. If it's not fun, it's not scary. Or I should say it the other way. If it's not scary, it's not fun. If it's not scary, what's the point? I think wave riding is intimately linked with fear. Fear is an important part of riding waves in windsurfing and in surfing. And it's part of where the fun comes from. And I definitely know that feeling of being scared, going up to the lip and hitting the lip. And then that fear is followed by elation when you hit the lip. And it's in doing aerials in really huge waves, there's this feeling of being so scared, but just trusting that as long as I hit the lip, it's going to throw me out into safety as long as I get my board in the high five position. And there's something really beautiful, almost religious in that feeling of faith that you have in that wave, faith and fear and elation, that triangle of feelings is really magic. And I think that's what makes wave riding so special. And so I would really embrace the fear, with the caveat that you want to be able to commit 100%. And so if you're not able to commit 100%, then you need to dial back your expectations. Change the line that you're making on the wave. whatever line you're choosing on the wave, you want to commit 100%. What I hate to see, which sometimes I'll see at Hokipa, is a guy who's a solid wave sailor, not pro level, but solid wave sailor, but going for a pro wave sailor line on the wave, going for the aerials, but not being able to commit. So letting go, jumping off the rig before getting to the lip, and ruining every wave and ruining his experience. I think that, yes, it's important to push yourself, but you want to commit 100%. And that commitment is so important because it's dangerous when you're not committing. And also, it's really unsatisfying. I think you end the session really unsatisfied if you are not committing. So you really want to make sure that you're choosing lines that you can commit to, and that line can evolve during a session. One of the things I've said before on the live stream, and this is, I think, really important once you're getting into bigger waves, is that that line can change throughout a session. So sometimes, like when I'm out at Jaws, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna focus on doing a carving cutback on the shoulder, and that's my line, and I can commit to it 100%. And then I have one wave like that, I feel good. Okay, I'm gonna move that cutback closer to the pocket, and that's my line. And then by the end of the session, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make contact with the lip, and I can commit to that 100%, and that's my line. And so you can choose where you're lining on the wave so that you can commit to it 100%. And that might be going off the lip, or it might be in the pocket, or it might be on the shoulder. And what's important is that you can commit to it 100%. And also know that the fear is always going to be there. The fear is a really important part of what makes it fun. And if you're not scared, it means that your line needs to be more aggressive. You need to bring it back to the lip, or you need to find bigger waves. It's a guide. The fear is a guide. If you're not scared, if you're not a little bit scared, if you're never scared, then that's a sign you need to push yourself harder. All right, let's move on. So if you want to join me in Morocco, there still are a couple spots. We've got a really good group so far. I'm stoked with everyone that's joining. We've got some people who are taking the masterclass for the first time, some seasoned veterans as well. I'm really stoked. We got a good group, but there are a couple more spots. And so if you want to join, this is the link to do it. We've got Marius, the filmer from Germany, flying out to film. It's going to be a really good time. So you can sign up at windsurfingmasterclass.com, go to schedule, and then apply, or just find this link in the Facebook group. Finn has got a question. So Finn says, has anyone traveled with a mastic extension in their carry-on luggage? If so, how did it go? Yes, I have. And it really depends on the person at the airport. If the person checking your bags doesn't want you to take it, then you're not going to take it. And I know that that's an unsatisfying answer, but it's the truth of the matter. It really comes down to the discretion of the security person. And so I've had things taken that make no sense. I've had gym equipment taken, and that's annoying. I have traveled with extensions before, and it's been fine. One thing you can do is, if you get someone in the security line that doesn't want you to take something, if you have enough time, you can say, okay, and go out of line, go back and get in line again with the exact same thing. And then just try to get a different person and see if it works any better. I've also traveled wearing my harness. I've traveled, with pretty much anything that can fit in a handbag, windsurfing related, like a carry-on bag, I've traveled with. All right, time for wins. What was your win this month? I love it. We got so many good comments on this thing. Let's look at them all. All comments. So Alex got out. Greg has restarted his looping practice, which, good timing. I've got some new looping drills, and they've been so successful. And I will post them soon. So I did some filming on Maui, and I'm going to do a little bit more. And my goal is to get this stuff online before I go to Morocco. Yeah, hopefully that happens. Depends how my jet lag unwinds. Mika did well in the event. Alexander landed a bob. Matu is going out after spinal injections. Wow. John is going to Pozo. Rich has no wind. Brad made his first shortboard tack. Jay's daughter graduated from medical school. Steph sailed so much that he had to take a break. I love it. Andre on the Lion. Caroline is coming to the Morocco Masterclass. James is on the water after 25 years for a neck injury. There's so many good comments on here. Max is trying out his new skinny boom. Rory's going to Pozo. Johan recovered from his shoulder injury. John is free riding. Jeff is coming to Morocco. Dennis is getting more productive at work due to the lack of wind. Mario's also coming on the Morocco Masterclass. Stoked on it. Jorg, 32 sessions before the end of May. Awesome. How many of you guys track your sessions? Do you track your sessions? I don't, but I know most people do. And I find it interesting to hear what your numbers are for those that track. Dana Miller in the chat, OG, he said May turned out to provide 19 saleable days, speaking of numbers, on the South Oregon coast, fueling his theory that spring is turning into the new summer. You know what? Next May, I think I am going to be there. I'm going to be on the Oregon coast. May or early June. I want to go back so bad. I want to take my family, take my kids, show them the beautiful Pacific Northwest, and drive around the Oregon coast in a van. I did that when I was a lot younger, and boy, is it fun and beautiful and some amazing waves. It's a spot that is really worth visiting. And Dana, I hope you don't mind me saying this because it might bring a couple people, but I think that most of the spots are so uncrowded that having one or two extra windsurfers is more of a bonus rather than a negative. And plus, like I just said, we're promoting positive windsurfing tourism and trying to give back to the local communities. So hopefully anyone that's hearing this and is traveling to the Oregon coast for the great windsurfing they get is going to do so in a positive way. All right, guys, I think that is it and the extent of my jet lagged capabilities. I am going to sign off and wish you a wonderful week. I will be back next week, Sunday. I'm adjusting to Europe. I'm in Germany, in Hamburg at the moment, and getting ready for the Morocco Masterclass, as well as putting together some of these other online courses. And I will see you next week, Sunday. I hope you get some wind. If it's windy around northern Germany, let me know. I have not been checking the forecast. Maybe I'll see you on the beach. All right. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.